quite a unique start here. You break free and then a little flat section before you drop down out of the stadium area. You used to have to do a very sharp right-hand turn. I'm pleased they've taken that out as the years have gone by. So proceedings underway. Katri, I should say, Niilenperä from Finland. She was 15th last year, which was a very good. Her best distance race of the season was the first distance race last year. And hopefully she can improve on that 15th this time around. Only 2 World Cup starts for Riti from Finland, Vilma Riti. You can just see the tension and nerves there as she... Oh, I was going to say about to break free. She went and snapped her ski spool. Lack of experience. What a shame. Somebody please. Where are they back up? She needs to ski on out and get the coaches on the track. Oh, what a horrible start to her day. Her mindset will be in turmoil. She has to now glide down the hill. Oh, you can just feel the pain. I really feel for her. This will be a lesson that... in which she'll learn from and never place that ski pole so close to the... Oh, 2 in a row, unheard of, unbelievable. The woodwork there for me is far too big when 2 out of the first 3 starters snap these very precious carbon poles. 2 horrific starts. The word will go out, the ripple effect will go out to the rest of the starters. Keep those poles away from that wooden framework. Well, Coletta Rydzek, she will break free, I'm quite sure, with no incident. She's more a sprinter than a distance racer. Very aware she was to keep that pole tucked in behind. Well, it's if you're watching for the first time cross-country skiing, this is so unbelievably rare. They are very expensive carbon poles, somewhat 500 euros a pair, and they're very, very lightweight, but taking any impact on the edges, they will break. We've seen that twice this morning already. Lynn Svan, I love the focus that she always gives. That mindset is so strong. And off she breaks free. She also had a little issue there with the start gate, and that has to be, a warning has to be put out there for no others to break the poles in the first pressure, the first push of the ski poles today. Mandelic from Slovenia. The best performance is 24th over 10 kilometers. That's in the classic style. Her best performance did come just after Christmas last year. 24-year-old now. She's had a good summer, so hopefully that 24th can be beaten at some point in this racing season. Maybe today. The coaches are just informing the athletes, hey, we've had some issues incredibly on the start gate today, so just be careful. So this is the nervous or the final few minutes to get your mindset organised, to try and relax. There's a lot of tension during the first World Cup, especially just getting yourself back into the rhythm of racing. And here we have Anna Gomarella, the 27-year-old from Cortina, where the Olympic venue will be in 2 years' time, just over 2 years' time, 2026. So Gomarella had her best performance in this. It was freestyle, actually, I was going to say, in this distance in January. She finished 17th in Val de Fiemme. That was a mass start. So Frida Karlsson, just getting the upper shoulders relaxed a little as her teammate Moa Lundgren gets underway. 12th in the sprint yesterday. She looked good in the qualifying. She looked very good in the semi-final. And kind of lost her way as the sprint races progressed. Francesca Franchi there from Italy, from Moveno in Italy, just giving the camera a little wave. Ducadur from France. Again, another issue there with that start wand. And double poling, important to pick up momentum out of this. It is quicker to use arm power to just get all the force coming through your upper body, down through the ski poles, to carry a lot of speed down the first steep descent here. There aren't that many cameras out on the track today, but I can tell you Lilimpera, who was bib number 1, only 5 athletes going through 1.1 kilometre. Lilimpera setting the early pace at 2 minutes and 59 seconds to that point. That will be beaten, I'm quite sure, as Francesca Franchi gets underway. I think it's fair to say Franchi, she's better freestyle, that's the skating technique, than she is in the classic technique today. From Oberhof, Lisa Lohmann, 23-year-old, so just on her journey of learning and improving. And certainly her aim, her hope is to be at her best for the Olympic Games in 2 years' time. She has shown great credentials as a junior, second over 5 kilometres classic in 2020, second in the world of juniors, and second also over 20 kilometres in the mass start in the under 23 competition. That was back in January. So Fosnas breaking free with no issues there, the 23-year-old. The under 23 world champion, over 20 kilometre classic. The Norwegians keep producing and developing high-class athletes. You know that when a 23-year-old comes in for some of her early World Cup races, you know that she is a contender. Katarina Gantz, 34th ranking last year in terms of distance racing. She's from Moena in the Val de Fiemme Valley area. 30th yesterday, so yes, she did qualify through in the top 30, but didn't really put it together in the semi-finals, sorry, the quarter-finals. So Novi McCabe, the 21-year-old from America, 43rd yesterday. She has shown good form over 10 kilometres. She likes a hilly course. This is a hilly course, so hopefully she can have a very good run out today. Certainly the American women yesterday with Rosie Brennan, Jessie Diggins, Julia Kern, they looked great in the semi-finals, the quarter-finals I should say. Yasmin Joensuu, she didn't put her foot wrong effectively yesterday until the final. She led the quarter, she led the semi, but came unstuck in the final. Put so much energy. Let's hope she can find that energy and drive again today. Certainly the big support is going her way. 6th yesterday in the sprint competition. Well, what a beautiful venue, just a chance to see the jumping hill, which has been well used this weekend by the Nordic combiners and the jumpers. And that's the descent, so 10-12 seconds of double poling. Then you tuck down fast over 45 up to 55 kilometres an hour on the descent out of the stadium. Great to see a relaxed looking Heidi Weng. She was 6th last year here, and I think she'll be looking to improve on that. The form has looked good in early season racing. Urovets from Slovenia. The 28-year-old from Bled, a beautiful town, some 20 kilometres away from the biathlon centre in Pokljuka. So Urovets underway. Lilimpera, there she is with her bib number 1. She's a more renowned sprinter than she is a distance racer, but last year it was good. I mentioned that earlier. She came 15th in this race. So really she is a good pathfinder, a good pace setter for us, the viewers, to watch. So this is coming up to 3.1 kilometres. It doesn't look like much on our screens, but when you ski up this climb, it seems relentless. It gets steeper to this point, then it flattens just for like 10-12 metres, and then it kicks even steeper again. So it looks around 9:25. It is 9:25.7 at 3.1 kilometres. Lilimpera just talking herself through, getting the hip over, trying to relax the glide, the balance, having compressed and got the pressure to drive yourself forward. So Nadine Feindrich just starting her race with bib number 24. Plenty out there in front of her to get split times from. So important actually to get information on the track, how you're doing. So 25, we were looking further back there to Lotte Udnesveng, but 25, Anki Loinen, the 35-year-old. She was 17th yesterday. I like that she's come into this new season strong. The warm-up races, if you like, selection races in Munio. Some 2 weekends ago, she looked good. She looked good at sprints, distance, and over the longer distance as well. That was Jonas Sundling. She came second yesterday in the sprint competition. Good to see Patricia Aiduka from Latvia. She travels and trains alongside the British team of Andrew Young, Andrew Musgrave, and the rest of the great athletes from the British team. And Aiduka taking the under-23 title last year, overall best under-23-year-old athlete. So Catherine Stewart-Jones from that beautiful town of Canmore at the edge of the Rockies, the venue for the 1988 Olympic Games. Remember it so well, great memories from back then. Beautiful venue, beautiful Olympics, and what a place to train. So out of the track, Lilimpera should be coming up to the half distance soon. Lynn Svan has taken some 21 seconds out of Lilimpera. That was at 3.1 kilometers. 28, so Lotte Udnesveng. Her twin sister, Tyrrell Udnesveng, not here. She had COVID earlier this month and not back at racing yet, but she was, her twin sister was, the overall World Cup winner last year. And what a pity to be held back with a health issue, as Jonas Sundling from Östersund, second yesterday. And back in March, she proved she can not only sprint to the high standards, having won the Olympic sprint competition and the previous World Championship sprint competition and the World Championships last year. She took the sprint title as well. But she can cover the distance as well, finishing 5th in March in Falun over the same distance and the same technique. Fosnes. Well, I think Fosnes will be hard-pressed to take an advantage on Lynn Svan at the top of this climb. You can see the range of movement through her arms. Just the ski poles are so angled so that the force from the poles push her along the track and not her body weight up, if you like. So the hands are quite low, not a big range of movement. And that is the technique for steep hill climbing. So many of the athletes coming out of the prepared track, clearly the grip wax, you can see it there, not working well. And as predicted, Fosnes is not going to challenge Lynn Svan at this stage. In fact, a deficit of somewhat 17, 18 seconds, maybe 19, or 19.6 at this stage. That's a surprise for me. I thought Fosnes would be much, much closer, maybe 5 seconds behind Svan, so not the best start for Fosnes. On the other hand, Astrid Øyreslund, she's strong. She's got the years of experience under her belt. She certainly has. 16 years since she started World Cup racing, but she had a 9-year gap, believe it or not, where she took part in the ski classics, as it's called, the distance events, the long distance events, and where she many times took the title in those long distance events. To come back to World Cup racing and do what she did last year is quite incredible. Third in the skiathlon and third in the 30 kilometer for Slind at the World Championships, and the relay as well. That was a gold medal there. So Yasmi Joensuu it's looking good. Although the timing, I'm just trying to get my timings on Yuan Su. Well, I had her at quite a margin behind Lynn Svan, further back along the track. Yes, there we are, that looks better. And it's going to be a deficit of what, 15 seconds, maybe 16, well, 15.9. And considering that Yuan Su 4 times went around the 1.4 kilometre track yesterday at a brutal pace, I think she's doing very well today so far. I like to hear that. I'm ready from Jessie Diggins. She's had a warm-up, got the transponder on, the skis have been tested, and she's ready to unleash quite soon. So in fact, in 2 minutes time. Delphine Claudel, 13th last year, you can see there in the caption, in distance terms. And I think she's come in, she's from La Classe, I think she's come in stronger this year, having taken that victory up the final climb on the Tour de Ski. That was in freestyle, but she's also had a second place over 10 kilometers, also in freestyle. So this is definitely her weaker technique, but I think she's a better athlete this season. Krista Parmakoski, huge name in Finnish cross-country skiing. Started her World Cup outings in 2009. So second time round for Lynn Svan, who holds the best time at half distance at 13 minutes and 20 seconds. Coletta Ridzek has second place back at 5 kilometers. So Lynn Svan looking tired up this long climb. So that this climb continues for about 1 kilometer. It does level off after 700 meters of climbing. And total rise from where you start into this hill to the very top is 54 meters. So imagine that if you're on your bike over that same distance, you absolutely feel it, or if you're out running. It's so deceiving. Looking down in the background, you think that's okay. It's not okay. It's a huge test. So 103 ahead of Lilimpera, but of course this is very early in the race. At this point on the track, it's 6.1 kilometers. Still climbing there for Lynn Svan as the snow continues, very light snow actually. And great to see Jessie Diggins, 15 World Cup victories to her name, Olympic golds in the team sprint competition. And world champion over 10 kilometers freestyle in Planitia last year. She looked great yesterday. She's looking great again at the start of this race. Jessie Diggins, no expectations, as she said herself, for this season. It's one race at a time. Having had some difficulties this summer, health issues, and she's overcome that. She didn't know whether she was going to start this season at all, so great to see her on the start line. Uzina from Latvia, the 27-year-old. And she'll be followed by Katarina Hennig in the background. We saw her just marking her way to the start line. Hennig, after one victory last year, I think she's going to be a much improved athlete again this season. So from Germany, Katarina Hennig, 15-kilometer classic mass start winner in Val de Fiemme after Christmas last year, her first ever victory. And that does release, you see that in so many athletes, release of confidence and inner power. So Feindrich, that is a good split time there, so she's competitive absolutely at the races and a challenger. Heidi Weng, just okay, it's definitely not as cold as it was yesterday, minus 10 yesterday with a huge wind chill factor, but so important to keep your body warm before you break free from the start line. Carlson about to get underway. So Jonas Sundling trying to challenge the early time, a very good time from her teammate Lynn Svan, but she's 11 seconds adrift. Quite incredible how yesterday, if you imagine that, absolute full pace for 3-minute races over 1.4 kilometre, and she finished second overall. Heidi Weng, fourth last year. She took some time out. She didn't go to the World Championships, and the evidence we've seen so far in the early races is that she's back as a much improved performer again this season. So great to see Heidi Weng out on the tracks. Astrid Eurischlind, this is going to be close to setting the new best time. I'm just having a look, last point of checking, she was close to, well, the new best times further back on the track has been set by Katharina Hennig. Oh, huge slip there from Slind. Now she's breaking into the, well, that hesitation. Look at the slipping. She needs to get out of the tracks, the cut tracks, slipping like crazy there. And then edging the skis. The only way to get grip now is to get those edges in. Herringbone your way, herringbone running up the hill. Well, that did cost her without a doubt 0.3 of a second, those 4 or 5 slips on the way. So the Norwegian wax today appears a little less effective as Ebba Andersson. What an advantage for Andersson starting. What have we got behind her teammates and great rival Frida Karlsson? Yeah, starting 3 minutes behind. So Andersson will be getting, without doubt, the split times from her teammate, because I do think that Frida Karlsson will be setting the best times along this track, and maybe the best time at the end of the day. Victoria Karl just outside making it through to this quarterfinals yesterday. She qualified with a 33rd fastest time, Victoria Karl. And this is a good time, a good performance. Well, look how tight that is there. We have 3 athletes within 0.7 of a second, led by Lynn Svan from Sweden. Astrid Eurischlind second, and Victoria Karl now third. 52 getting the biggest of cheers here in Ruka, and the Finns are very modest, very quiet people, but certainly letting themselves be heard to inspire Parma Koski as she exits the stadium and then attacking down the steep climb. So under 23 athlete there in final preparation, and 53 Lina Anton from La Cruza. Moa Ilar from Sweden. There's one further Swedish athlete still to break free after Ilar. So Ilar, more a sprinter, but has produced some good distance racing as well. So let's have a look at the athletes. Some are able to stay in the cut tracks. That's the advantage. It's pressed down, compact snow. But if you're not getting the grip on the grip wax, the skis have a waxing pocket. They're like I suppose a long bow, but not quite as exaggerated in terms of the bend in the ski. So when you stand on one leg, there, you get the compression which flattens the ski, which allows the grip wax to grip the snow crystals and propel you forward. And in a difficult condition day like today, it's quite difficult to get the perfect grip wax. And that is always a challenge for the wax technicians. Teresa Stadlober, her father, a former racer, worked for the ski companies. And she's well and truly a top-class athlete. So 56 Stadlober, 30-year-old now. That fabulous bronze medal for Stadlober in Beijing in the skiathlon, putting to rights the mistake, I suppose, from Pyeongchang in 2018, where incredibly, in the silver medal position, Stadlober took a wrong turn and without doubt cost her a medal. Anyway, let's focus on Jessie Diggins. The eye line, the head is up, the eye line is looking way forward, that keeps the hips forward, so this is looking fabulous for Jessie Diggins. Given that this is a weaker technique, this is a really good performance today for the American. Didn't do so well here last year, and it became a very successful season. So this is great news for Jessie Diggins and for the American team. The wax looks good, actually. She managed to stay in the track for most of the journey up that steep climb. Gertrude Niskanen, the distance athlete, overall at the end of the season. Can she do the same again this year? She's 35-year-old now, and the distance winner last year. Mostly her victories all of her victories actually in classic skiing. Not quite so effective in terms of freestyle. Katarina Hennig, well, the confidence of a victory, that came after Christmas last year, and she really is carrying pace and desire and determination into this new racing season. This will be the new best time. That time from Lynn Svan has stood the test of time to this point. 4 seconds advantage for Hennig. Katarina Hennig has momentum as Lynn Svan. It's been a lonely race, but a good race for Lynn Svan. Don't think it will stand the test of time, sadly, for a podium, but it's a fabulous early time nonetheless. This looks like Emma Ribom, the last of the Swedes underway, and incredibly winning yesterday, again 2 years in a row, winning the sprint competition on this testing track in Ruka. So Frida Karlsson, pure determination, always races with the mouth wide open, sometimes the tongue hanging out as a cooler, as she says herself. She did that from a very young age. It's going to be the new best time. It's 2 seconds advantage for Karlsson, so the pace, the race is on. Hennig is ahead of her only by, what have we got, by 1 minute. So great for Karlsson to get those split times. And then don't forget, behind Karlsson, we've got Eva Andersson, 3 minutes behind. This isn't Andersson, this is Rosie Brennan, but Andersson will be along very soon. Come on, Rosie Brennan. Let's see these long ski poles and that lovely slide through the hip, through the knee to push that lead foot so far into the hill to allow you to get some compression through the grip wax. Come on, Rosie Brennan. It's going to be a good time. I don't think it's going to be a new best time, but it will without doubt be competitive. Certainly for a top 5 through the split time. Possibly even better. Brilliant performance. We saw Jessie Diggins come through here looking strong. Now Rosie Brennan. Well, it is close. Well, it's third. I thought maybe 4th or 5th, but she's third. She's at the races again this season. And I do like the wax. There's less slipping from the American skiers than there are from, unexpectedly, from some of the Norwegians. Let's have a look at Heidi Weng. Well, this is a challenging time as well, and looking much more dynamic and attacking than we saw in many of her races last year. That beautiful, efficient technique, the little slide forward from the foot, allowing a moment of relaxation. That allows the blood flow to move through the legs, to clear all the lactic acid, which endurance athletes have to deal with on a daily basis. It's not going to be the new best time, but it's a competitive time from Heidi Weng. She'll be delighted. And this really does. It's only 3.1 kilometers, remember, and there really is a chance to bounce back and dig deeper from here, possibly just pacing into this first third of the race. So 9.7 adrift from Heidi Weng, still at the races, still an opportunity here today for Heidi Weng. Whoa, momentum, desire, determination from Andersson. This will be the new best time. So have a look at the hip point. She rotates her hips a little to get all her body weight through each compression on each side as she slides the hip, the knee forward. So this is Yasmin Joensuu. Not going to quite challenge Lynn Svan's time, and Joensuu 4 times she charged up that climb yesterday in the sprint competition. And going to be adrift by somewhat 15 seconds to the good time which Lynn Svan has set early on. Well, 15 is gone, so she'll be hoping for 22 seconds behind. Exactly 22 there. So that's impressive considering that Joensuu went through to the finals yesterday. You can just see on the base of her skis the discolouring there of the wax, the grip wax underneath her ski boot. So Jessie Diggins, do you know, technically I think she's improved this year. With absolute respect, I think she's a great athlete, great person. Her classic skiing hasn't been technically quite as good as her freestyle, and that has proved in her results, but looking for me so much at the races this season. Just hear the breathing there. The demand for air is at the high end. Some 140 to 160 litres a minute of air, of oxygen sucked into those lungs. And when you've got cold temperatures, not too bad today, it's only -4, but when you're down at -18, sometimes that is painful. -20 even. That's the limit for racing in cross-country skiing. Jessie Diggins at 6.1. Excellent in 4th place. There are big names ahead of her. She is bib number 40 from 64 athletes in this race. It's a very good performance. Desire, determination. And I've been following on Instagram Hennig this summer. She's had a great summer. And quite a name, of course, as you'd expect in Germany. Opening events, attending talks or giving talks and inspiring many along the way. So Katharina Hennig at 6.1, it will be the new best time. But just trying to get a look at the half distance. Hennig was in 3rd place with Carlson Brennan ahead of her. And I think we'll safely say that Carlson will maintain that pace, but Ebba Andersson, of course, Palmer Koski made better her time. Niskanen, her brother, will be looking to take another victory at home over this distance later in the men's race. So Frida Karlsson leading at the half distance until Ebba Andersson just passed her now to take an 8 seconds advantage. Boy, these two must annoy each other. One day it's Karlsson, the next day is Andersson. And really, sometimes it depends on which athlete starts behind the other in which we see the better times. Well, Karlsson still has that lead, 4.3 ahead of Hennig. Looks a little, as you would expect at this stage, a little uncomfortable on the track. Just needs to try and relax a little. Easy for me to say sitting in a warm booth watching the race. Difficult when you're stressed out there. Emma Rebohm. That's incredible, isn't it? 3.1 kilometers in, she's only 9.7 adrift. And she won the sprint races yesterday 4 times around to make it to the final at full pace, a 1.4 kilometer track. So Rosie Brennan, she still holds 3rd place. Rosie Brennan at half distance. She's only 9 seconds adrift of Ebba Andersson. And she's desperately trying to close down on Karlsson ahead of her. Oh, it's going to be close, isn't it? It's going to be very close. She was 1.7 adrift of Karlsson at the half distance, and now 1.1 along the track. She's only improved by 0.2 of a second. At least if that information is passed on, and it may well be, it's a positive. You've got 0.2 of a second. Let's grab the positive from that information. That's what our mind will be saying. But when you're on the edge, when you're pushing to your limit, it's very, very difficult. No matter what the messages from the brain say, it's very difficult to increase the pace. So Lynn Svan, the current leader in the champion's chair, just getting out of the champion's chair. What's she going to do? Just, that's nice, isn't it? Encouraging her teammates through the half distance. So Anderson, well, this is a strange day for the Norwegians. Many were expecting Norwegians victories, but we haven't seen much of them actually. But what we have witnessed, I think, is some very, very non-grippy skis. Let's say slippy skis, where they haven't had a great grip along the track. The Norwegians, the ones we've seen. So I'm just creating an assumption here that the grip wax could have been better. And you have to, as an athlete, you have to take what you get. You've tested, you've made a decision, and you have to try and make it work as best you can. And on a track profile like this, where there's a 60-meter difference between the highest and the lowest point of the track, you do get temperature changes. So a ski that grips well on, say, the flat sections, when you come up the hill, it may be slipping. Anderson is still making the most of everything. Her capacity, her mind strength, the skis she's got on, and she's really opening up that lead time. It was 8 seconds at 5 kilometers, now it's 10.7, and that is significant. I did say earlier that there has been a tendency in her great cross-country journey to go out too hard in every single race, and I think that might be the case today. She'll be on survival mode in this last quarter of the race. Ebba Anderson is leading the way. Teammate Carlson behind her. This is at 6.1. There are names still to come through, remember. And this is at the moment. And great to see Rosie Brennan and Jessie Diggins in 9th position for America. So back up to the stadium. It's Jonna Sundling, the world champion sprint athlete, the Olympic sprint champion as well. And this is a good time over 10 kilometers when Lynn Svan has set the best time, 27.8 adrift. It's a good performance and she'll pick up many decent World Cup points, but of course that time will be beaten. Lynn Svan was 17 seconds adrift at half distance. It's just an indicator that Lynn Svan's time will still be good at the finish, possibly even a top 10. Now then, Parmakoski, we saw her starting well up to 3.1. She was in 6th position. I feel she's lost. Yes, she has some momentum. You can see the effort there she's putting into this performance. She has won at this venue in the past. I beg your pardon, I'm just checking the history here. She has had 2 times second position, Parmakoski. As soon as I said she's won here, I thought, well, she's won plenty of races, but she hasn't won here. Apologies for Slinde just missing that. It won't be the winning time today, but it is the new lead time at 10 kilometers by 3.9 seconds ahead of Lynn Svan. Just trying to get a view, an update on where Heidi Weng was at half distance. 10th position actually. Heidi Weng just in behind her teammate Schlind, both 22.4 seconds behind. So Victoria Karl, this looks like, and well done to Victoria Karl, looks like this will be a new best time, possibly by 5 or 6 seconds. So Victoria Karl coming into the finish with bib number 34, and a new best time will be set. And it is 5.5 seconds faster. Nice one, job done. Well, you can see bib 37 there, just really struggling. The grip wax isn't working. Rashko from Kazakhstan struggling badly as Carlson flies up past the 8.1 kilometer marker, taking the new best time. Carlson really is at the races. She knows full well she'll have received the information that her main rival, Ebba Anderson, is ahead of her. And Rosie Brennan chasing as well. So Ebba Andersson with a 3 minutes on the clock deficit at the start of the day to Carlson. She's been given all the split times, and I'm quite sure she reviewed Andersson as her main rival in this race today. Carlson, I should say, in second place now. Rosie Brennan having just taken the new lead time, so this is Andersson chasing Brennan's time. She's likely to depose Brennan at this stage, but I said it earlier, I thought that often Andersson hits these races hard in the early season race as well. Only 5.5 ahead of Rosie Brennan, so Rosie Brennan has picked up the pace. At half distance, Andersson had 9.7 advantage, and now it's down to 5.5 seconds advantage. This is Jessie Diggins for fourth place. Well, as always, giving it all out on the track. Have a look at the base of the skis. There's a little bit of silver grip wax on there, the dampish conditions. And well done, Jessie Diggins. 18 seconds adrift. That'll be a good time, position I should say, at the end of the day. So Jessie Diggins still spread eagle there after crossing the line, gasping for air as Hennig comes in, going to, I think, just come in ahead of Victoria Karl. Hennig at the end of the day has gone out just a little hard, but she does take the new lead time, not by much. So Germany 1 and 2. And you can hear the pain there, these early season races. Victoria Karl delighted that at the moment Germany have positions 1 and 2. Come on, Rosie Brennan. Does she know that she had 5 seconds deficit on Andersson at 8.1, and Andersson for me is looking the athlete in more trouble as Carlson comes into the finish. Without a doubt a new best time. She's picked the pace up again. It's going to be some 22 seconds, 21.7 seconds ahead of Katarina Hennig. So that's got to be, in my opinion, a podium position for Carlson. But come on, Rosie Brennan. The composure is still there. The technique is still there. Couldn't hear what the coach, what information. It's always hard to get information up this climb, but probably just saying, come on, you were 5 seconds, bring those seconds down. Rosie Brennan, it's been some time since she took her victory in Davos, the sprint on the first day of racing, and then the 10-kilometer freestyle. She won both of those 2 days in a row of racing, her 2 victories at World Cups, and at the moment this is looking great to come in ahead of Carlson. What a great day of racing for Rosie Brennan, but she still has contenders behind her. For now, Rosie Brennan taking the lead. So happy for Rosie Brennan, long time competitor for the American team, and looking incredible at this early stage of the season. So the 34-year-old has had a fabulous day. Let's get, soon we'll have an opportunity to see Ebba Andersson. Well, this is Ebba Andersson. Boy, this is going to be tight. Ebba put out the early times, had quite a margin at 3.1 kilometers ahead of the rest of the field. Certainly she had 7 seconds lead time on Brennan. That extended to 9, nearly 10 seconds at half distance. Oh, she's still looking good, so Andersson just needs to keep composure. I say just needs to keep composure. This is a brutal climb, a 23-meter rise from the flat at the bottom to the top of this climb in a very short distance, and then it's relatively flat into the finish line. That's what you need, a coach. It's sounding good for Ebba Andersson. She's found a little more oomph, a little more push. She only had 5.5 seconds ahead of Brennan at 8.1 kilometers. I think she may have extended that by a little more. We'll have to wait and see. Heidi Vang coming across the line. It will be a top 10. It is 7th position, and a very disappointed looking Heidi Vang. A delighted looking Ebba Andersson, because the clock is in favour. This will be the new best time, and the time which will stand the test of time as the winner today. I think I'm right in saying that. 4.9 seconds lead. Yes, Niskanen has not put in a late challenge, and Parmakoski we saw fading, so looks like Anderson has yet another victory in a time of 26:46.7. Well, what a race. Rosie Brennan, she has to be delighted. It was only 4.9 seconds deficit, but Brennan, what a start to the season. And Frida Karlsson in third place at the moment. Well, so Ebba Anderson, if this stands the test of time, and I think it will, on Saturday the 26th of November last year, on this very day, she took the victory by 5.7 seconds ahead of Karlsson and 13.3 ahead of Katarina Hennig. Well, almost deja vu, isn't it? But Rosie Brennan, a much, much better performance. She was 7th last year. At the moment, she's 2nd. So let's have a look at Emma Rebohm. She put in a fabulous day yesterday to again take the title that she won last year, the sprint competition. So Moa Ilar, it's a good performance as she comes up to the finish. Just trying to get an idea of where Moa Ilar could finish, just having a look further back down the track. Well, it's a great time actually. She's really charging for a podium position. She's in 4th place last time of checking. Moa Ilar, just trying to get, my computer seems to have let me down at a vital stage. Well, here she is. Yes, chasing for that 3rd position. I think she'll survive in 4th position when you look at the time back to Katarina Hennig. So wonderful start for Moa Ilar, and what a day for Sweden. 4th position. So looking at the flags there, we've got Sweden with Anderson in 1st position. We've got Sweden with Karlsson in 3rd position, and Ilar there just coming in 4th position. And then Lynn Svan in 8th. I thought Lynn Svan may last in terms of a top 10 position. Well done, Ebba Anderson. 2 years in a row taking this title. No mean feat, and as all the athletes say, it's a horribly challenging track profile. But clearly it's one that Anderson likes. A quick look at the all-important scoreboard. Yep, and she takes that victory by, yes, 4.9 seconds. 9.9 ahead of Karlsson, and we saw Moa Ilar there, just a late starter coming in at 22 seconds deficit. We've still got Parmakoski to come in, and Niskanen to come in. Niskanen running in 7th position at last point of checking. Well, here they are, the Finnish athletes. Here is Niskanen. So in my opinion, Niskanen, she's challenging for a 7th place, a 6th place. She needs to pick up a few seconds to try and absorb Victoria Karl. And then just ahead of Victoria Karl, it's Katarina Hennig, both athletes from Germany. So Niskanen, she has found something in terms of energy in the latter stages of this race. So Niskanen, the out-and-out distance athlete of last season, she didn't do anything spectacular in terms of many victories, but she was always there or thereabouts. And this season, is she going to pop in just ahead of Slind? Yes, she is, by just over 2 seconds advantage on the Norwegian. So Emma Rebohm. I love the way yesterday in the sprint races she kept her head so upright, looking way up the hill. It reminded me a little of the great 400 metre runner Michael Johnson, but at the end of 26 minutes racing, the head is going down now for Rebohm. Yesterday it was so upright to take the sprint victory here, and incredibly putting in a strong performance today. So the Swedish team is looking almighty, strong, focused, and technically the wax was okay. We saw a few slips and slides from the Swedish team, but overall they managed the conditions well. So Emma Rebohm just outside the top 10 with a 14th in the end position, just under the minute, 54.9 seconds behind. Now that's not bad, let's be honest, having won the sprints yesterday. Those legs have to be feeling yesterday's workout, and the tension, actually, the mental tension of a sprint race day, it's quite horrific. And to pick yourself up, dust yourself down and hit the tracks again, but this time over 10 kilometers. Alakoski, bib 59, again, because Finland is the host nation here, they can enter many more athletes, and Alakoski, painful experience, but a very good experience for her future. And the Finns in numbers alongside the track, and letting their athletes know that they are willing to stand out in pretty chilly weather for the whole morning to support their athletes. Of course, the men's race coming up a little later on today.